Italy. That is where we're hearing from Matteo Renzi, the new Italian Prime Minister. He became Italian Prime Minister only weeks ago, but he's trying to hit the ground running, if you will, and get down to business on his pledge to get the Eurozone's third biggest economy back on track. Renzi is currently speaking, unveiling further details on his economic reform plan. It is widely expected to include a cut in payroll taxes. And we're going to get more details now with our correspondent in Rome, Seema Gupta, who is with us from the Italian capital. Seema, tell us more about the details. What are we hearing this evening from Matteo Renzi?
Well, Mr. Renzi is giving that report, if you like. He dubbed the entire presentation as a good change, a good turning point for Italy, saying in his this very informative report using these slides, presentation slides, he talked about cutting labor costs by reducing a regional tax on companies, as well as settling those unpaid bills owed to commercial suppliers by public authorities, that to be done by July. He also said that they would create more affordable housing for Italians, as well as invest in the infrastructure of schools. And he said that there would be cuts to public spending and greater simplification. He even announced that they would be selling 100 government cars in order to make some kinds of savings. And he also said that there would be tax cuts to help the lower earners, saying as much as €1,000 a year for these lower earners, meaning those who earn less than €1,500 a month. So he's pledged all these various things and says that he does have the money in order to carry them through.
I wanted to ask you about what kind of support Matteo Renzi has a few weeks into taking power as Prime Minister. We've heard a lot from him, as you've just been stating there, lower taxes for lower income families, as well as lower payroll taxes, infrastructure spending. Does Matteo Renzi have the support to drive all those reforms through Parliament?
Well, exactly. I mean, he needs the approval from the lower house and the Senate in order to get these legislation, if you like, approved. And at the moment, it still remains to be seen. He also needs to deal with the interest groups, whether it's the unions on one side or the business lobby on the other. We'll have to examine in detail what exactly he's presented today and whether it makes all parties happy. And if some of them are too left-leaning, he's not likely to get the support of his centre-right partners who want to see things done particularly in a different way. So we'll have to see whether he can do the job that the predecessors before him, either Letta or Mario Monti, did not succeed in doing, or succeeded only in a watered-down fashion. That still remains to be seen, but clearly today he's presenting his program, his idea of what is necessary to save Italy, a country that has been suffering from recession for the past 2 years and dealing with record unemployment.
Matteo Renzi certainly has his work cut out for him. Seema Gupta reporting there from Rome on what we're hearing this evening from the Italian Prime Minister. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to move on to a look at the stock markets next. In the United States this hour, we're seeing shares trading lower. Concerns of a slowdown in China, as well as tensions over Ukraine, are still seen to be weighing on shares. The Nasdaq is the only outlier, trading slightly up, only around 0.1%, though. Now, we saw a similar negative picture in Europe earlier, with pretty much the same concerns weighing on the markets on this side of the Atlantic, Ukraine, and also a slowdown in China. As you can see right there, the Frankfurt DAX taking a real hit, down 1.3%. And if we look at a few other stories that came through earlier this Wednesday, industrial production in the Eurozone fell 0.2% in January compared to December. The French figure was even weaker in January. Industrial production in this country fell 0.3%. Still, some analysts say that the data shows that the Eurozone's recovery is on track. Much of the drop is attributed to a fall in energy production, but manufacturing is still growing. Meanwhile, the maker of the mobile game Candy Crush Saga has unveiled the details of its much-awaited share float. Game maker King plans to sell more than 15 million shares for between $21 and $24 each. The price values the UK-based company at up to $7.6 billion. King is one of many companies seeking funds in the stock market this year, as confidence appears to be returning. And a French court has banned the US company Hess Oil from doing oil exploration at a site near Paris. It's seen as a victory for opponents of the controversial fracking method, which uses chemicals and water at high pressure in the search for oil. Hess Oil had promised not to use fracking, but the court ruled against it nonetheless. Local officials say it's tantamount to a ban on exploration in the entire Paris region. And one more story to tell you about. The airline body IATA has cut its profit forecast for the international airline industry this year. IATA predicts total profits of $18.7 billion, $1 billion less than in December. It blames political tensions, including the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, for hiking oil prices. That in turn is likely to raise fuel bills for carriers, according to IATA. Okay, that is the business news for now. I'll be back with more headlines in around about an hour and a half. It's back to you, Francois.
All right, many thanks for that. Marcus Carlson with all the day's business news. Stay with us. More to come at the top of the hour, including the France 24 debate. We're looking at Libya. Could the country implode, or are we seeing the start of a fight back by authorities in Tripoli against local militias who are taking over oil terminals for the last 8 months in parts of the country? You can weigh in on the conversation on our Facebook page and on Twitter. Stay with us.